Let's try and be brisk with all of this. Yeah, we need to point this out. This was a house made out of modded blocks, so it's gone in this copy at least.
The best way to start Season 9 is just by looking at the map.
So this is Thefe Town, southern part is Traffic District. This is the road that connects a bunch of stuff. This is Ched Junction. That's the Evil Tower. This is Thefe Town, this is Cortland, and also a few buildings south of it. This is a building that was kind of unfinished. This was at Skydis. That was Grub Bay. That's a castle. That's a giant castle. Made of mangrove and stuff. And that one's Albuquerque. And then that's the van from Breaking Bad. And somewhere around here there's a big train. That's a basic overview.
I guess we could start with just running through Cortland. So, it's amazing seeing this because when the mod stopped working for me, I couldn't see any of this, so it was just an empty void, so it's nice actually being able to see ComposAmurai's home.
Yeah, and thankfully the basement part was just built out of normal blocks, so that'll stay here for a while.
Oh. Look, if you look at the bamboo farm, he had a lot of bamboo. And on the other side, it's pretty much all full. So then over here we have my house, kind of a mess, a bunch of shulker boxes everywhere. Then a bunch of junk. Kind of the same idea as Season 6, just living in a villager house. Most of the buildings here in Cortland don't really matter. We have Gubby's shop that no one really ever used.
Yeah, poor Gubby.
Sheep farms, a chicken farm. I believe Chubbo's chicken is in here. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Chubbo's chicken got out. Whatever.
Sorry, Chiquito.
It's the world tour. This doesn't matter. Then we can see the progression of Gubby's names throughout this. Skipping John Games 88, I guess, because I guess John Games 88 never logged on to this season.
Yeah, he was very salty about that name. Although if you look in the corner, IB Grubby Matey did log on this season. I guess you forgot to add that.
Yeah. So then this is ChubboCheeks' home. He played on the server for a while, and then stopped, never logged on again, really.
Yeah, thankfully we got him back for Season 10, but he was kind of just an event guy.
Continuing off the theme of just people living in these homes, we have Ched the Cheese's house. We have kind of a secret underground thing. Well, underwater, more like. There's kind of my expanded area of Cortland where I wanted to make it seem like an actual town. And so I made a bunch of buildings, but here we have Chubbo's Sniffers, I believe. Josh, Joe, John, Jacques Quavius, and John Dale. We have Ched the Cheese's home, which pretty much has nothing except the secret tunnel that we really just saw.
Ah, okay.
This home leads up to kind of the cliffside area, which is nice. I don't particularly like too many of the buildings here. Here's the voting hall. Most of the buildings here are just a bunch of empty things, but we do have the Temple of Kidonius Kidus, which was a joint project between Kidonius and I. Kidonius / Ched the Cheese. So this is kind of just a whole joke build. Here is Kidonius Kidus himself. And there's a bunch of lore, so if you flip through that, people can read it if they want to. It's very extensive and elaborate.
Gurgle Squad Season -3.
Where do we go from here? Thefe Town?
I guess so. And we can take the railway too, because that also sort of ties into here. So this is the one thing that I sort of built for Cortland, which is just a train station. I think it came out okay. Obviously it's not anything crazy, but the best part is I actually fully furnished the railway. Alright, here we are. Oh, goodbye. Here we are in glorious Thefe Town, and this is the Thefe Town flag. You'll be seeing it a lot. So this is a town that I decided to start because Thefe wanted to take that village over there, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna be working in this village. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I just left and started wandering in this direction until I found this very well. And I was like, well, this is a good enough place to start. So I built my house here, which is this one. This is the original building, and this was my original house.
Do you think we should maybe use one of these guidebooks?
That would be a great idea. Okay, the first two I already got on point, so that's perfect. The third one is Thief Town Mine, which is right here. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a mine built by Comic Relic, I believe, and just brings you all the way down, and that's where we did our digging. See, number 4 is the voting booth. This was made by you. This was for the Thief Town election, which I think I won. I hope I won at least. Moving on to point 5, you have the abandoned structure. This was originally Comic Relic's house, but he decided to move out, so to include some lore, he made the building look all decrepit and stuff. And then up at the top, there's like a little lore book, which we probably shouldn't show in this video. We can talk about the statue of you I made. So now that Season 9 is behind us, I can be a bit more clear about this. So obviously, this is a statue of your skin. You are Thefe. And I built it because I did feel like there was a slight disconnect between us in Season 8, just because I wasn't the best at communicating at that point. So I thought it'd be funny if I made a town that was specifically calling out to you, you know, with your name, and also your face. So using the limited blocks I had, I built a thief right there. Thus it was Thief Town. The next up should be 7, which is the storage shed. This was pretty simple. This little weird looking build with a bunch of chests in it. And I pretty much used this throughout the season, and it was a very good build. It did its job. Oh, the grave? Yeah, I just wanted to build a sign, and I guess it ended up looking like a grave. Don't worry, guys. Thief is not dead. He's right here. And number 8. Wait a minute. Yeah, the points are on here. Never mind. Number 8 is the Lonely Puffer. There's actually 2 of them in there for some reason. I meant to expand this at some point, but I never did. So it's kind of just like this. And this pillar right here is there because I put a dragon head on a nitwit villager once, and I just let him wander around Thief Town. And somehow he got on top of this building, fell off right here, and died. So I just decided to mark the exact coordinate of his death. And it was kind of a shame. Going on to 9i, we have the Thief Town Iron Baron. This is like the 3rd Iron Baron we've seen in these tours. And this one only ever made like 1 sale. It was during the beginning of the season, and it's been dormant ever since. The only difference is that I swapped the B on top from the original copper to iron, because for some reason I didn't have enough iron for a B at first. Then there's the stable. Pretty self-explanatory. You got a little place to register horses, and then you got some places to keep them. This is my main horse, Pete the First, and this one is a horse where I bred our horses together just to get a spare horse. And these were some skeleton horses, which I got from a random day. And this, I think you can explain.
So this is a remnant from the unfortunate events of the Woodland Mansion stream when you had to go AFK. And I tried my best to entertain, so this is pretty much the only thing left as a result of that.
Cauliflower. Back onto the normal town. This is the saloon. I am sort of happy with how this build came out, and I am glad that eventually I did start brewing potions, but no one really bought them from here, so that was kind of a shame. But it's kind of nice, and there's a 2nd floor with the sign that says don't question anything, and a few spare rooms. I don't actually know why this is there. When I wrote it, it just said like don't forget to take your items back if you leave them here. This is the mayor's office where, oh, this is 2 months ago. Upon this day was declared that 3 of the people we call Thief dwell among us in various forms. This is known as the 3 Thieves Law, Constitution, Declaration. The first of these is the one who built Thief Town. The second of these is the mayor of Thief Town, a horse. The last of these is just Thief, pretty much, I guess. Signed Thief, Thief, and Thief. So here we are, the 3 thieves in one room. Thief the horse, Thief the thief, and Thief the builder, which is me. I built Thief Town. mostly. And I am the Sigma. And again, this is another pretty average looking build. This one is the villager thing, not too much to note. Comic Relic did come in and organize it for me, which is very nice. I think he did a good job. There's a goat there for some reason. We should take note of that. I think I know why that ended up there. But this is the sniffer enclosure, where I named two of the sniffers after the two YouTube channels I am the most fond of, Genjuping Productions and ComposAmurai. Great guys, great videos. There we go. There's Genjuping Productions. And these are the first sniffers we had on the server. I went through all the hassle to get them, and ComposAmurai was my first one. This is an ugly spare house where we keep cured villagers from zombies. They still have some nice deals on them. I don't know if they will for much longer because of the whole update, but it was convenient having them. This is the smelting house, where I would just cook stuff in bulk. I guess there's a wither skull there. This is a spare house I built, which is just a test for building bigger houses. And this was pretty much the capstone of original Thief Town, sort of. This actually came a bit later. But this is my house. It's pretty big, and I think I got it all done in one day, exterior-wise. And I am somewhat proud of it because it's got some layers to it. There's like 4 different floors you can go on. And the first floor, at least, has like a full interior. It just gets worse the further you go up. And from here, you get a pretty average view of the center of Thief Town. There's a few more other things in Thief Town before we get to the traffic district. One of them is the other big house that you can get to through like a side door, because it's just right here. And that up there is just a pillar we got for the Star Trader achievement. So there's a Fletcher up there, I guess. This was a big house I built just to build more big houses because I liked the first one, but I didn't really do anything with it. I do like this balcony where you can see into the upper floor, but other than that, not a whole lot to note. And this one's a lot more box-shaped than the other one. And of course you have the giant Thief Town flag, the train station, which we came in, a big sheep farm, and the industrial backyard area. That's where I kept my iron farm, my bees, and my concrete machine. This was very useful for when I needed to make a lot of concrete. And I had to make a lot of concrete. And now, getting on to the best part of Thief Town, the traffic district. This is the tree line thing. I spent many stream hours here. You can go watch that stream now if you want. I filled 10 shulker boxes right here. Across this very line of dirt. I guess it's rooted dirt now. But I guess it's time to go on to the traffic district. Starting with a big traffic cone. I made a big giant base in the middle of the ocean here because I thought it would look cool, and it did. And then I was trying to think of what to build here, and my older sister told me do a traffic cone. So I tried to figure out if I could get enough orange dye. Turns out I could, and I think it's kind of cool. It's not very practical, but the inside is nice because you have this aquarium underneath that's walled in, so you got fish you can keep in there. You got a beacon in the middle, so it's fun to be in here. The beacon beams are also orange to fit the pattern. And of course, you couldn't have a big traffic cone in the center without having some stuff around it. So I started experimenting with building stuff. And there goes Thief on the ice bridge. I think the first thing I built was this house, which it was experimental to say the least. I don't know what I was doing with that big top part. If I cut that out, it honestly would have looked okay, but just had to be there. Then this is the Gurgle shop, which never really sold anything. But if you go to the back here, you can see the output of the Gurgle machine. And it's actually doing quite well for itself. I don't think I or anyone else ever used anything that came from the Gurgle machine. But I mean, look at it. There's just chickens up there constantly firing their eggs into this pit of doom. And then the chickens fall to their death as they get squashed. I feel like I have to do a lot of talking here, but this is the museum. There is a fossil that we found. This is a naturally generated one that we rebuilt here. Probably not perfectly. Over here, there is an amethyst geode exhibit, and then this is a very pathetic display of the dragon egg, which I got from Thefe. Moving right along, we got the top floor where you get the nice greenish roof. I wanted to use dark prismarine, but it's too expensive, so I went with wood. Here you have a turtle exhibit, a goat exhibit. This guy can never escape because he's walled in. A lore exhibit. I guess I should page through all of these so they're somewhat preserved. But this was Thefe's idea of some lore for the season, written by someone. And he gave me the challenge of putting them all in order, which I think I did right.
Yeah, I think you did. And then I had a couple of joke stories. Like, here we have History of Atlantis from concept to calculator.
Yep.
Is floor 2 real?
This is a terrible exhibit. I don't know why I did this, but I just put one flag here, and it's not centered. This one is a... another sniffer. This one's kind of nice, a bit small though. This is a diamond thief. This is kind of impressive, I think. It's quite a few diamonds. This is a dinner bone mushroom display. I actually only ever naturally found one mushroom on this world, so I went into Creative World to try and figure out where another mushroom biome was, just so I could get more. Felt a bit scummy for doing that, but it is necessary. This is the original Iron Baron sign. These are a few fish I caught that I thought looked cool. They're all black and green. And the reason I caught so many fish was because I wanted blue axolotls, which I got. So I put some in here. Although there definitely used to be more, so I think some of them might have died in here. With this building done, we're getting close to the end of the traffic district because there isn't too much to say about the rest of it. Here I just built a house and a farm. There I built another house with a lake. And originally there were frogs in the lake, but of course, you know, they hop away and get lost. This is a big tree I built. I don't really know what I was going for. Originally it was going to be a normal tree, then I went for palm tree, and it turned out okay, not the best. This is a little golfing green. I kind of like how it came out. This was a tiny village. I think there's like 3 villagers in here, all locked in one house, because I didn't trust them on their own. This is a little cliff area where there's a villager, where I exhibited some wild looking sniffers. This was kind of fun. I do like how the cliff kind of blocks out some of the desert, so it's like you have this little biome. This area was where mushrooms lived, and thankfully they actually sort of stayed in their areas, which is kind of nice. Can't say the same for the goats, because over here was the goat area, and if I remember, one of them ended up inside the sheep pen, and I guess the other one was behind it. I wonder if I can find him. Yep, there he is. So one goat there, and then we already saw the other one earlier in the stream. He was like right there, I think at least. Then after that goat exhibit, I'm almost done talking. We have another village and a bridge, a waterfall, and a farm. And after that was done, I figured I could be done with the traffic district, and we ended season 9 somewhat abruptly without a stream, because the stream that was going to end it failed miserably. Oh yeah, okay. This was a fort that I built just to keep out the pillagers, because there's a pillager outpost on the other side. And it sort of worked, so I was happy with it. Did I give it a name though? 20i, let's see. Fort Thefe, of course. Well, that's it for Thefe Town, I think. Quite a big project. I did spend the majority of the season here, even though originally I already thought it was done, and then I came back. Oh yeah, and there's the Thefe Town sign. Yeah, pretty simple. I just did that in one day and thought it was fine. I did terraform that though. I'll be quick. This is Ched Junction. I just built 4 walls and 4 towers with a bunch of houses on the inside with like water on the roof. None of these houses have interior, and it ends with a little pool. There is really nothing significant about this except I wanted a stopgap between Thefe Town and Cortland, and I think it did that job quite well.
Is it about time we covered the big evil looking tower? It's not evil, by the way.
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is my big project for the season. If you can't already tell, it's pretty massive. I had to mine over 40,000 deep slate to accomplish this, but also buying deep slate off of other people just to make this happen. This kind of has a story if you just look at the books. To start with, I didn't really do a whole lot of interior, but this one, I like how it turned out with just some highlights of the warped wood and quartz. Now up here, this one is a lot brighter, and I really like this one. So this is kind of like an arena with a bunch of seating that goes way high up. I just really liked how this one turned out.
Oh, well, this is gonna be good.
Now this one, I think I might have taken some things out, but we have other side pig steps, some goat horns.
Whoa. It's deep. This one. I remember that.
So over here, I had two pots, but then I got rid of them. I have dotty back, sniffer egg, lodestone. Let's go over here. Another lodestone, and then just a bunch of armor trims and an upgrade template. Now, this is a bunch of enchanted golden apples and wither skulls. Even though it's probably not the most visually impressive, just the 3 enchanted golden apples and 3 wither skeleton skulls, that's probably just like by its presence the coolest thing. When I made this section of it, I was kind of going for a much different feel, because at this point it doesn't even seem like we're in the tower anymore. And that was the goal. Because we walk up here and then, I mean, it's not really the best because I had very limited space, but you look out here and it's supposed to look like the outside sky. It looks like we're in the mountains now. We go up here and it's this nice little house. Uh-oh. Chests. This one's filled with a bunch of sandstone, table, crafting table. And you go up here and then you're at the top of the house. Top floor, and then there's a book that I wrote. I mean, I definitely didn't write it. The mysterious
Yeah,
individual who made the tower. It's pretty much an explanation as to why everything here was made. It's kind of hard to fly out, but and you go up here and there's this giant laser making that in the sky. It originally wasn't supposed to even look like the sun, but then that's kind of how it turned out.
This is incredible. It's like the spiral house in season 8, but taken to the next level.
Yeah, it took a lot of time. I think there's a couple of smaller things we can quickly knock out. Oh, wait. Let's briefly go back over to Quirtland. Now, originally, right over here, it's kind of been built over already, but this flat area, there used to be a desert temple.
Oh.
And one day, it mysteriously disappeared. And this all goes with something I built over here, if the chunks would load for me. It's right over here. Now if I know, it is this build that I have right here, kind of just this cave with the desert temple, just perfectly rebuilt. There's nothing special about it, I just rebuilt the desert temple in here, but with the books back at the museum, this whole area kind of has a bit more of a purpose. And then this sad looking thing over here is just kind of an attempt at a castle. I had a bunch of cobblestone and a very limited amount of oak wood, so I just made this. It wasn't supposed to look that good, and it definitely did not. I think we've got a couple of things on the other side of Cortland that we can check out, starting with an abandoned project that ComposAmurai had. This was a house that I think he was building for ChubboCheeks, but it was never completed. It would have looked really cool. I liked what he started with.
Yeah, and it's really a shame too, because he had the whole thing designed. And there's blue axolotls down here. Nice.
And we have a couple more things this way. I guess we'll start with one veering off to the right, which was just a building I made because I was bored. So I built this futuristic donut kind of thing, and it involved a lot of digging. So I got a bunch of sand and sandstone from this, and I just built a pit and made nothing of it. But I tried a gradient, but it doesn't look terrible.
It's not bad.
But there's really a whole lot to note with this. There's something over here that I kind of desperately wanted to appear on the map, but I couldn't do it because it was just too far away. But another thing I made just because I felt like it was this train station all the way out here, along with a train and a pretty long train track. It looks alright. I didn't really have a reason to build it, I just made it. I mean, I did have plans to build a lot more on the outside. That's why the whole area is flattened and there's a big area of grass, but nothing really came out of it. I still think I prefer the Season 8 train, but this one isn't too bad.
Yeah, here we are. So this is Albacore Teeth. This was my project directly after Thief Town. I made a big deal about like moving a bunch of stuff here and packing up llamas. And, like, this is where I was gonna live. This is my next big project. But, you know, then I started building the houses here and realized it wasn't really my favorite palette to work with. I think this was like the first one I built, and this one too. So then I just started making rectangular buildings to add like a bunch of depth to it, so it would at least look cool. And I added this little like terracotta gradient thing, because it would also look cool. And then I kind of just decided I was done. I slapped my name on it, put my face on it, and kind of just left it. I remember this building had a purpose. I called it the Cultural Center, even though there's no space in here at all. But at Skyda City's got a bit more time in the oven than this one. I guess we start with the first floor and then move on to the People vs. Humans arena. So this is my idea for a sequel to Atlantis. Instead, this one was in the sky, and I used the new at the time cherry blossom blocks to build more wood houses with sandstone. And everything here was built by me except for this. This was from you, I think.
Yep.
And it's quite nice. It does add some builds to a somewhat empty area. That's because I didn't make it square originally, until eventually I added enough blocks that it was square. And some of the houses you can go into, and they do have like walls, I guess, but not really interiors. Not a lot going on, really. There is this big temple in the middle, which originally I didn't really know what to do with, until I was asked by Thefe to build a second part of it, which would be the People vs. Humans arena. So I obliged and, you know, built all this out with grass. And then somehow Thefe had the idea to plant trees around it, which looks really cool on the map and creates a nice wall. Then he built a camel riding arena, and I built an inverse of the inverse pyramid, so it's like a cool diamond shape when you look at it from afar. We only got to use the camel riding thing like once, maybe, but we did do it, and it was on stream. So that was kind of nice. I only know there's not much else. Oh wait, there is a comic relic space. He didn't build much there, but there is a railway in the nether that takes it there. This, however, definitely needs its time in the limelight, because, wow. Oh,
This
yeah,
was like the big tower in Season 8, my secret project of the season, where at some point when I was building the evil tower, I died and then lost like my shovel or something, and so I came all the way out here, and what I did was I just started building this. And I eventually made this whole thing, and then I revealed it to you, I think. And then up at the very top center tower, whenever you get there, I'm sure you're walking around the whole thing.
Yeah,
but
I was just in it.
In the tower at the very top.
Here, let's get back in.
Yeah, at the very top, that's where I originally put those books that are now at the museum in Thefe Town, Traffic District. I kind of hid them on the bookshelves here and pretty much told you to just organize them. And I guess I made a flag. Yeah, this was the only room of the castle that I actually did an interior of, but I really like how it turned out.
Me too. And doing the puzzle with the books was a lot of fun.
I guess, yeah, we have Comic Relics base to look at.
I have also...
So I guess I win.
Oh, perfect. More minecarts. Alright, well, here we are. This was his house. Then there was also a few farms he had. Also a grave to his snowman. Yeah, so cactus farm, iron farm, melon and pumpkin farm. And then one last thing I know he did is that there was an igloo up here where he built a villager facility. Here it is. Human breeding facility, authorized personnel only.
Oh. I guess when we get back, pretty much the only place we have to look at is Grub Bay.
Yeah, that's about it.
I can't think of like one tiny area where I started building something but abandoned pretty quickly.
Well, we might as well see it.
Oh yeah, it's right over here. Because this is the little mangrove swamp. And if we fly down right here, I've got a camel, bit of stuff, and then this tiny little structure where I was trying to build an underground thing. I mined something out, made a fancy little design, and then gave up.
I would say it's a shame, but I do know where your efforts went this season. I can't say I'm disappointed with what happened, so...
Let's look at the boats first. This goes along with the theme of boats in both seasons 5 and 7. So this is kind of another thing based off of a creative world thing that I built. Unfortunately, the world was lost, so I had to pretty much make this off of memory and also a couple of screenshots that I took. But this is a lot bigger than all the other ships that I built in seasons 5 and 7. And I think it's probably the best one that I made.
I like the cannons. I don't even know if I've ever noticed them. But it's a cool detail.
The other ships, I didn't put nearly as much effort into them. Because if we go over here to this one, there, I don't think really was an interior at all. Yeah. Nothing at all. I just built this ship because I was like, I should build a fleet. And then, I guess you could call this a fleet. This one was the last one I made. I kind of wanted one not in the same area facing the same way as the other one, so I built this one over here. I do like it more than the other one because it's kind of like the ship I made in Season 8 where this part kind of extends out forwards towards the mast. But this one also didn't have interior except for the captain's office. Now, the one thing we do have left, the grand finale, is the big mansion of Grub Bay. This was probably first seen by you during that log cutting stream when I was just building the very base of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to keep this as secret as possible until the very last day of the season. And this area, I wanted to give it a full interior. Oh, I guess we should check out the basement. So this is kind of like the weird dungeon boiler room area.
Aha, Dottie back.
When making this room, I made use of the campfires that I got from you replacing the pathway in Thefe Town.
Oh, right.
Well, the traffic district.
What a great use of like 10 stacks
this
of campfire.
So this one, I have a couch just because the entry archway kind of overlaps and I needed something to block it off. And then some beds and just paintings. I do have this area out back, which gives pretty nice view of both the inside and that thing over there. We have two different ways of getting up to this floor, both going up the spiral staircases and the main central one. This one, I just had to figure something out to use as interior, so I made this really fun minecart track that you can just go back and forth. And then I added some big paintings and then some storage. So I guess I had a lot of shulker boxes this season. Now, this is the one that it was all kind of building up to. Yes. Where we have some massive dotty backs. And we have another massive map of the whole world. I think I made this one even bigger. Over here, I made this place with another book of important Season 9 lore. If anyone actually cares enough to take their time to read through all that, good for you. And then this was supposed to be like a dramatic end to the season because you're supposed to pick up the beacon which says better luck next time, and then you hear the sound of the creeper, which is supposed to sound like TNT about to explode, like, oh boy, I'm gonna blow everything up, better luck next time. As like a grand finale to all the lore I set up.
I gotta say, this was pretty creative. I wasn't even aware of it. I gave you the creeper head. Or at least I knew about the creeper head.
I guess that's all there is for Season 9.
Well, Season 9 might be my favorite season. I mean, just looking at Thefe Town and its traffic district on a map kind of just fills me with awe. I really like how the moss blocks made it look, and it's just humongous. And this season did genuinely do stuff to my hands where, like, it hurt to play Minecraft for a while just because of how much I wanted to play during Season 9. But I feel like I was having fun, and we got incredible stuff done.
What I will say about Season 9 is it helps that the season went on for 10,000 Minecraft days so that we were able to actually do all that we did. At the same time, that still doesn't really take away from the fact that, like, all of the stuff we built, we had Thefe Town in the traffic district. We have, like, a whole bunch of different locations that we can specifically name off, like Escudis, Albuquerque, Grub Bay, Cortland, Ched Junction, Thefe Town, all those places. And for other seasons, we can't exactly name off specific towns like that. And that's something that helps Season 9, because we were able to do a whole lot, and we didn't waste too much time.
I guess that means it's time. We finished our Gurgle Squad retrospectives of all the past seasons that I've already completed. But this is the end of it for now. We will do a tour of Season 10 if and when it ends. And I say if because we don't know if there will be a Season 11. Season 10 might just be eternal. We will have to judge that. Bye!